Our gold sponsors are Chevron, Visit HB, and California Resources Corporation. Our bronze sponsors are Alpha Omega and the Bolsa Chica Senior Living Center and Twinning. Our network sponsor, Republic Services, Memorial Care Orange Coast Medical Center. And we have some honored guests I'd like to introduce. We have our city manager and our chief of police doing dual duty, Chief Para. Assistant City Manager, Travis Hopkins. I don't see Gracie, but we have our Mayor Pro Tem, Gracie Vandermark. Our council members, Pat Burns, Casey McEwen, and Natalie Mosier. Our HB Fire Chief, Haberly. Assemblywoman Diane Dixon. And if we have any other locally elected officials and any of our city representatives, you just give a big wave. We appreciate you coming. And we have Michelle Schultz, who's representing Assemblyman Trita. I'd like to now take this opportunity to introduce my president, Meredith Randall.
Thank you, Bruce. And I'm very glad to have a couple of minutes just to speak to this group this morning. First of all, we're very proud at Golden West College to be a sponsor of this event, and we're proud to be a part of Huntington Beach. I really feel, I've been at the college about 3.5, 4 years now, and I feel like it is a jewel in this community. And there are some jewels with me here. I'd like to introduce some of my team that were able to come here this morning. Bruce, of course, is our foundation director. But we also have Dr. Claudia Lee, who is our vice president of student services. Dr. Kay Wynn, who is our vice president of instruction. And Dr. Lawrence Sasenko, who is our dean of institutional effectiveness. And a former Fountain Valley resident. I grew up in Fountain Valley. Anyway, so just a few things about the college, because I like to take any opportunity to make sure people know what's going on there and what's going so well at the college. First of all, we were really honored this year to be chosen as one of the top 150 community colleges in the country. And one of the top 19 in the state of California. That's top 19 out of 116. So we're very honored, and that's based on our student achievement, transfer rates, and all of those kinds of things. Also, we have recently gotten permission to double the enrollment in our nursing program. We're looking forward to graduating 200 nurses a year in the near future. And if you don't know our nursing program, most recently, nursing programs are judged on their pass rate for the NCLEX exam. Our most recent pass rates have been 100%. And I'm looking for Chief Parr. We are also increasing our police academy. We are often doing up to 3 academies a year. We graduate about between 100 and 120 police officers every year from our police academy, and we're looking to expand into more different kinds of post-training. We also opened a new 3-story building in August. If you haven't been on our campus, please come to our campus. Even if you were there a year ago, I promise you it looks a lot different. We have a lot of new buildings. We are tearing down old buildings. We are beautifying the campus. We are doing everything to make the college attractive and something that we can all be proud of. And just to remind you, in the program, we do have an ad that reminds you that students can Most of our students can attend the first 2 years for free. If they are first-time students coming full-time, tuition is waived. And in addition to that, we have all kinds of, I see Dr. Lee nodding at me, we have all kinds of other support. We have a food pantry, we have gas cards, we have all kinds of things to support students. And if you happen to know any high school students, they can always take classes with us for free while they're in high school. So I like to make sure people understand that we do that. And last of all, we are expanding our pickleball classes. So just wanted to mention that. So make sure you come and take pickleball with us. So thank you very much. I'm really honored to be able to speak to you today.
Thank you, Meredith. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce the star of the day, and that's our Mayor, the Honorable Tony Strickland.
Good morning. Can you hear me in the back? Fantastic. First of all, those great news about the pickleball. I know my wife is really excited about that announcement, and we'll probably be playing pickleball very soon. I want to acknowledge Assemblywoman Diane Dixon. Let's give her another big round of applause. Thank you, Assemblywoman, for being here. For those of you that don't know, and I appreciate it because I've been in that position, she represents many, many different cities. Her district is huge. And the fact of the matter is that she's here this morning, and every time we've asked her to come to Huntington Beach, and every time we've asked her for help for Huntington Beach, she's been a champion for Huntington Beach. So let's give her another big round of applause. I also want to acknowledge my city council colleagues. I've had the fortune of being your mayor for a year, and on Tuesday, a lot of people think I'm retiring, I'm leaving, I'm still going to be on the council. But Mayor Pro Tem Gracie Vandermark will be our next mayor, and she's not here today because she threw out her back. But I want to acknowledge my council colleagues who give me the privilege to be your mayor, and I just want to say thank you to all my council colleagues for this year, and hopefully, as you'll see, I think the best days of Huntington Beach are in the future, not the past. But Natalie Moser is here. Let's give her a big round of applause. I know Casey McKeon's here. Where's Casey? And then Pat Burns is here. And I think that's all who's here today. But I want to thank all my council colleagues for this privilege to be your mayor. I'm the 66th mayor of Huntington Beach, and there's no title that I've held more with pride than being mayor of Huntington Beach. This is a fantastic city. I also want to acknowledge our double duty police chief and city manager, Eric Parra. Please stand. Chief, thank you. Fire Chief Scott Haberly, please stand. And all the people who work for the city, please stand. Stand. Don't just wave. Stand up. Stand up. Please stand up. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. I appreciate every one of you because we're all in it together to make this city hopefully a better place. And I also want to thank everybody in the leadership of the chamber. If you're in the leadership of the chamber, please stand. Please stand if you're in the leadership of the chamber. Thank you. I want to acknowledge each and every one of you because you do so much for our business community here in Huntington Beach. And really, I think Huntington Beach is an unbelievably special place. You'll see in the video, talk about it a little bit. Hopefully it didn't get edited out. But it's not the city council, although I think we do a great job. Please don't start yet. It's the people. It's the people. It still has that small town feel where neighbor watches after neighbor, and people come to help each other, and people get involved. They fund things like our Boys and Girls Club and everything. People step up here in this community, and that's what makes it a special place is all of you who are out here this morning. There's a lot of other things you could be doing this morning, but you're here, and I want to say thank you for all that you do, everybody here, for Huntington Beach. You give yourself a big round of applause. So it's hard to say in 4 minutes, all the things we've done in 1 year. I often said that we've done more in 1 year than most councils have done in 8. But we've done a lot of remarkable things. The thing I'm most proud of is I think the most essential role of government is public safety. If we don't feel safe in our homes, in our streets, in our businesses, in our schools, everything else we talk about, we might as well not even talk about. And I'm extremely proud because when we came in as a council together, we were 28 officers down, and that really tells you the kind of great work that our law enforcement and our fire does. Think about all the big events where we have millions of people come from all around, and we pretty much do all those events from the air show to the U.S. Open to all those big events without incident. And they've been doing that with 28 less officers. So let's give them another big round of applause. It's amazing what they've done. But what we did this year as a council is we finished a contract. What was happening is we were compensating our law enforcement 7th, 8th out of 9 in almost every category. And that's why a lot of officers in Huntington Beach were leaving Huntington Beach. They were going to Garden Grove. They were going to Irvine. They were going to the county. And we needed to stop the bleeding. And so we didn't need to be at the top because Huntington Beach is such a special place, but we did need to stop that from happening. And so we came together as a council. We got a contract done. And now we believe we've given the tools to our chief to make sure that we can get those 28 officers back and make sure Huntington Beach is even a safer place than it already is today. And I'm really proud that we came together as a council on that. Very proud of what we've done in homelessness. We have more to do, but the fact of the matter is we have a two-pronged process of enforcement, but also we have a navigation center to get the homeless the services they need, whether that's mental health or drug addiction, alcohol addiction. And we're getting more and more, our officers are beginning to know the homeless people, and they get a relationship with them, and then we get them the help that they deserve and that they need over in the navigation center. And almost every facet you look at, homelessness is down. We have more to do, but we've done a lot in this year, and every facet this year is dropped dramatically. And I'm very proud of what we've done this year on homelessness. The next thing, I know it's somewhat controversial, but OCPA, we pulled out. The OCPA, the Power Authority, had problems right from the beginning. The guy who ran the Power Authority didn't know what a kilowatt hour was, which is really scary when you're running an energy company. And they had grand jury investigations. And now we're going to get professionals to run our energy again. So I'm very proud of that. I'm proud of saving the air show. The air show brings millions of dollars to our local economy, and you're going to hear from Kelly Miller a little bit after me, but we're going to work together to do whatever we can to bring in these large events like the air show, like the surf competition, and our goal is to make sure that we get the Olympics here in 2028, and I think we're on path to do that with Kelly Miller's leadership. And lastly, I want to say one of the things I'm really proud of as being mayor is a lot of people complain about their elected officials only being around during election time. And I've always had this philosophy of being very accessible. Whether you agree with me or not, you cannot argue the fact that I was out in the community for a year as your mayor. We did 16 town halls, and we did community coffees in the community, and we invested heavily in educating the population on what we do at City Hall. Not only with the town halls and the community coffees, but we launched what we call the Mayor Spotlight Awards. And I know Gracie's going to move forward on that, and I hope that goes forward in perpetuity. What the Spotlight Awards do is we honor those who volunteer for the city and thank them. And it's amazing how a lot of times people volunteer and no one ever thanks them. So what we do in these Spotlight Awards, we highlight people who are individuals who give back to our city. And once a month, really, we were there from like 10 a.m. to like sometimes 7 p.m. handing out certificates to all the great people and all the great citizens of our city and thank them on behalf of the city for all they do for our city. And so I was very proud of starting and launching the Mayor Spotlight Awards. I was also very proud of our local TV, the Mayor's Roundtable. And what it is, I get to be Johnny Carson for a day, and I get to ask the questions of leaders in our community so our citizens can know what they do. I interviewed Scott Haberly. I interviewed Eric Parra. I interviewed Diane Dixon, our Assemblywoman, State Senator Janet Wynn, Michael Gates, our city attorney. I asked them, what do you do in your department and what do you do for Huntington Beach? And it was very, very educational. And I got a lot of positive feedback from folks who were very appreciative of being understanding. I mean, just talk to Chief Haberly. I mean, thinking of fire chief, you don't think of all the things that they do. I got a lot of comments about, I didn't know the fire department did all that. So I'm really proud of just being your mayor and doing the best job I can. And let me end with, I want to thank my wife, because, you know, literally you don't get paid for this. Trust me, people think that we get paid a lot. We don't. But we don't do it for the pay. We do it for the reward and making sure this is a better city. But I want to thank my wife, Carla Disbalacho Strickland, for, you know, giving me up for a year and all the times where you had to kind of fill in for some of my business stuff. But Carla, please stand up. I want to thank you in front of everybody. And let me just conclude, again, it's been an honor and privilege. I will still be on the council, so I'm not going anywhere, but thank you so much, Chamber, for having me here today. I know I'm going to come back up after this video, but I think we did a video to kind of show some of the great things we did this year as a city. And again, I believe Huntington Beach's best days are in the future, because we have strong leadership, and we're going to do whatever we can to make everybody's life a better place to be. And that's what this is about, making Huntington Beach even more special than it already is. Thank you so much.
Mayor of Huntington Beach. Welcome to the State of the City Address 2023. We've done more in 1 year than most councils have done in 8, but don't take my word for it. Take a look for yourself.
So the most essential role of government is public safety, because if people don't feel safe in their schools, at their home, and in their neighborhood, everything we talk about, we might as well not even talk about. Public safety is the essential role of local government, and we need to do whatever we can to make sure people are safe. And we don't get 13 million visitors a year if people don't feel safe. We don't have a great school system if we're not safe. So public safety needs to be the #1 priority for local government.
Public safety is important no matter where I work, but for me, because I live here, as a chief of police, I'm going to direct my resources to that area. But I know in this city, I feel safe walking anywhere in this city, day and night. And the goal is for not only me to be safe, but it's for every resident to be safe, and of equal importance is for our visitors to be safe.
Well, first of all, our police chief has done a remarkable job at keeping us safe, because he's 28 officers under what we need to be. We weren't given compensation, comparatively speaking, to the rest of the surrounding areas. When it came to Irvine, Seal Beach, Garden Grove, we were 8th out of 9. And so a lot of our officers, they would love to stay in Huntington Beach, but they left and they lateraled out. And so we were 28 officers down, and we still kept a safe community. What we needed to do is do the POA contract, get them right there, not the top, but as long as we're in the ballpark, which we put them in the ballpark. Now we stop the hemorrhaging, and we're going to fill those 28 officers. But what we're now essentially doing is giving the chief the tools they need to keep us safe in Huntington Beach.
Investing in public safety is a priority, because as council members, that should be our main goal. And we needed to invest in our public safety in order to be competitive in the market and have the best officers that we can here in our city.
I support the increase in compensation for police officers, because
It is a national problem.
We're attracting young people. Young people aren't attracted to this profession anymore, but they are attracted to better pay, better benefits, and what we include in that is a wellness component to that benefit, so we keep our officers safe. But we also need to keep our veterans here. We need to keep the skilled, experienced officers here so that they can train the younger ones on how to do police work best. We want to get the best people here. We want to have the highest quality of service here. We want the highest quality of officer here. The way we get that is by having better pay and better benefits. If I was a young officer, I would want to come here and I would consider this to be the best. I've worked in 3 different policing agencies. This one is by far the best agency that I've worked for, and I want to impart that upon our personnel that are looking to come here.
For us this year, the council's made public safety a huge priority. This year we've seen some replacement to some of our aging fleet. We've had the opportunity to replace 2 of our aging rescue vessels that were both well over 20 years old. We have a new engine company on the way. We have a new truck company on the way. We have a new heavy-duty rescue for our USAR team up on the north end of the city. And then the council's made a real big priority in helping us prioritize our special operations teams. So urban search and rescue and hazmat. Behind me we have our hazardous materials team. We just became a Type 1 hazardous materials team with the California Department of Emergency Services, as well as the first decontamination team in the entire state.
Yeah, as a retired police officer, it's important that we invest into public safety because it's the #1 issue when it comes to quality of life for the residents.
So we focused really hard this past year of giving our police officers the tools they need to make our streets safe. So people want to come and invest here for their businesses. People want to come and shop here and they feel safe and free to kind of live their life and really maintain a high quality life. So this past year, we really made that probably our top priority is really enhance our public safety to make it safe for everybody.
The City Council actually voted just recently, not too long ago, to give my office a little bit more resources. So we've been able to hire a second community prosecutor. And our prosecutors in-house here on the ground really help support our police department and back them up. So that prosecutor gets to know these homeless persons. He gets to know their issues. He then goes to court and he follows up to ensure that they are being dealt with adequately through the court system. Because a lot of cities just will do the prosecution effort in terms of the right to report, put the person in custody, and then they'll go through the court system. But there's no person that has personal knowledge of them or can guide them through.
Police and social workers have collaboratively engaged in trying to effectively deal with the homelessness.
We're actually letting the homeless know that there's a navigation center that will actually help them get back up and on their feet. And so it's a 2-pronged process. One, it's enforcement, get them away from our downtown areas, get them away from our parks, but we're also helping them with that helping heart. Getting to know those homeless and bring them to the navigation center and give them the actual tools that they need, whether those are mental health tools, whether it's addiction to alcohol or drugs. We need to help them get back up on their feet.
So one of our main focuses was to empower police officers so they can do their job. We passed ordinances which helped them focus on areas that were previously hotspots, and now those areas are safer now.
And our police department's always done a good job in terms of trying to tackle the homelessness issue. Obviously, we have a shelter in the city, and we have for a few years now. Enforcement is the other part of that, right? You go and try to approach the homeless and say, look, we have a shelter for you. If you don't want to go to the shelter, then staying out here and camping is illegal.
In Huntington Beach, we really want to retain and acquire new businesses that come here. We want to make our economy very inviting for businesses to invest, to make our city more prosperous, create jobs, increase wages. You know, my family's business, the Beef Palace Butcher Shop, has been here since 1970. So we really want to embrace those small businesses up to the large businesses like Boeing, and just create an environment where people want to come here and invest their money and make our economy very prosperous for everyone and increase our quality of life.
There's been an increase in the number of new businesses within the city, and I think that reflects that they feel comfortable that the city is just going to get better.
We're Huntington Beach, and we want to bring those big events to Huntington Beach. One, because it's good for our citizens here in Huntington Beach. Two, it puts us on the map. We just launched the ISA World Parasurfing Championships, and we had 27 countries coming here and over 200 athletes that are here.
and they're spending their money in Huntington Beach, and they love Huntington Beach.
Having a large-scale events here in our city has really helped our city as far as putting us on the map even more than we were before. Having visitors here helps us economically. They come, they shop in our shops, stay in our hotels, they visit our beaches and our parks, and then they come back.
When they did the economic study of the air show, 91% of the people who come from out of Orange County, they come for the air show, but they come back to Huntington Beach because they have a great experience in Huntington Beach. That's what these big events do. And I have to say, we're really good at doing huge events. In the air show and the surf competition, we have millions of people coming through Huntington Beach, and that tells you how good our public safety is. Almost all those big events are without incident.
So the one-stop shop is essentially a way to streamline and make City Hall efficient on permitting and interaction with city staff.
So what I've been hearing from manufacturing to tourism to everything else, what they would like to do is, again, what we're doing in terms of one-stop shop permitting and be able to go through their projects and be able to talk to someone at City Hall and get their projects approved so they can get it built, done, and start going to business.
And ideally give that applicant a checklist A to Z of what to follow, and make that process faster to get their permit quickly and get their house built, their restaurant open, etc., to make our economy more strong, create jobs, bring in sales tax money more quickly. So to make it as efficient as possible and not get caught down in the red tape and the bureaucracy.
We did an economic summit as mayor with all the leaders in the industry, and they're saying we're on the right path, but what we need to do is what we're doing now. We're doing a one-stop shop, and we're doing things based on what we hear from business leaders in Huntington Beach.
More than ever before, the City Council in this city has really prioritized community engagement and being proactive and pushing out information to the public.
Prioritizing the engaging of our community here in the city of Huntington Beach is really important. So if we find a centralized location to give the information, the residents feel more comfortable coming to us for information instead of searching everywhere else.
One of the projects that we're really looking forward to and we think is going to make a huge difference in our community is the launch of a new city website. We've heard from the community that it's been difficult and cumbersome to really navigate our website and to find useful information. And that really hinders us on pushing out information as well and making sure everyone's getting the most accurate and timely information they can. So beginning of 2024, we're really excited to launch our new city website. We think everyone's going to be really impressed with it. We're going to consolidate information. We're really taking a look at the user experience and how can residents get information easier. How can they find what they're looking for on the city's website without getting frustrated? So I think that's going to be a huge tool moving forward for us, and it's really going to benefit everyone in our community.
So for the first time in over 20 years, we're working on our website, and we actually have a new app. We're hoping for it to be ready by early 2024. And once that is ready, we hope that all the information will be within one central location, and people have one area to go to. They go there, they know the information is coming directly from the city, and they know they have actual, correct, factual information.
When Mayor Tony Strickland came in, one of his big priorities was getting out in the community more. And the Office of Communications was thrilled to support that effort and get him out and doing his town halls, his coffees, his Mayor Spotlight Awards. That's been a major initiative that we've been so proud of supporting him in. And we've seen him talk to thousands and thousands of residents on the issues that are most important to them.
What I wanted to do is make sure people knew what we were doing here at City Hall and bring it to the people in the community, and then also listen to people in the community and take their voices with you back to City Hall. So I'm very proud that we did over 16 town halls and coffees to be out there in the community, engaging with the community and listening to their concerns. Number two, being able to thank people who volunteer for the city. Again, that's what makes the city so wonderful. We have volunteers. So we have the Mayor Spotlight Awards, and so people who actually volunteer their time to make the city a better place, we do these Mayor Spotlight Awards and give them certificates and thank them on behalf of the city of Huntington Beach. The other thing we do is Mayor's Roundtable TV show. So we interview people like Michael Gates and talk about what they're doing in the city attorney's office. We interviewed Chief Parra, the police chief, and talked about what they do in the police officer, Chief Haverly, what they do in the fire department. And then we interviewed Senator Janet Wynn. What is she doing in Sacramento specifically to help Huntington Beach? So what we were able to do is communicate to the constituents about all the things that we're doing.
As someone born and raised in this community, I know how important it is to understand what's happening at City Hall and understand what's happening in this community. My biggest job is making sure that I make the best use of the tools I have and launch things such as our website and our MyHB application to really allow residents to get information easily. It is not the job of the residents to have to search endlessly for information and try to track down what events are happening, what initiatives are being passed, or what programs may be in their area. We really want to make it easy for residents to find all the information they need in one place and make it all accessible to them so that they can live their best life here.
So when businesses thrive, we get extra city dollars that come into our coffers, and what that allows us to do is take those resources and make sure that people's quality of life is better.
Yeah, so I think it's important that we're doing like a citywide assessment on our infrastructure through Public Works, with input from obviously our city staff, and then we've gone out and asked the public to provide input as well on our infrastructure, what needs to be fixed, etc. And the city staff can't be everywhere at once. So it's really important to involve the community as much as we can, and they see things that the city usually doesn't see.
The infrastructure report card is basically a self-assessment of our infrastructure, and it's divided into 5 different categories where we evaluate all of the different aspects of our assets, and that includes our beaches, our harbors, our parks and facilities, our utilities, which is water, sewer, and storm drain, as well as mobility, which is our streets and our roadway.
And we'll be able to analyze what the citizens point out as needs, what the staff bring back to us as the best needs to effectively service the infrastructure within the community.
Local control is extremely important because we know what's best for people in Huntington Beach. We're out in the community. Gavin Newsom could take Huntington Beach on a map. He doesn't know the intricacies of the city.
Local control is everything, especially as it relates to housing. Like every city is different. They have different environmental elements, different terrain, geography, etc.
This fight about the RENA numbers are fundamental because really it changes the whole dynamic to what Huntington Beach is as a city. And at the end of the day, we don't want high-rise apartment, 40-story apartment buildings here in Huntington Beach. What we would like to do is have that control to local government and let our local leaders decide what's best for Huntington Beach.
There's 482 cities in the state of California, and we really are the only city fighting the state in this way.
The fight against the RENA mandates, or the Regional Housing Needs Assessment mandates from Sacramento, is critical because Sacramento is essentially forcing us to zone our city a specific way, when it's really all about local control. The residents, through their elected representatives, their city council members, should zone the city the way they want, which is usually based off their geography, their environmental elements in the city, the terrain, etc. Each city is unique. We shouldn't have a one-size-fits-all mandate from Sacramento. The fight against these mandates from Sacramento is paramount.
Huntington Beach, the city council, and our mayor wisely recognize that if we don't stand up now, if we were to just simply roll over and try to build in the new 13,368 unit mandate into our zoning, that there really is no turning back.
Yeah, so we're fighting to protect that suburban beach community that Huntington Beach is known for internationally. We're Surf City, USA, and so residents want to fight as hard as possible to protect that.
The Huntington Beach's best days are in the future, not the past. I would like to claim a lot of credit as mayor, but I'll tell you, it's not the mayor, it's not the council. What makes Huntington Beach unbelievably special is the community leaders that we have in the city. And there's that sense of neighborhood that Huntington Beach, even though it's 200,000 people, we still have that community feel where people know each other and they're willing to help each other. And that's what makes Huntington Beach very special.
Thank you so much, Huntington Beach, for the honor and privilege to be your mayor. It's been a great year. Huntington Beach's best days are in the future, not the past. We left the city in better shape than when we found it. God bless you, and God bless Huntington Beach. Have a great day.
So let's give Jen Carey a big round of applause for putting that video together. Thank you, Jen. She worked, stand up, Jen, so people, she works tirelessly. Not an easy job. Let's give her a big round of applause. She did a great job. I also want to point out, we didn't say before, Alicia Backstrom, our treasurer, is here, and let's give her a big round of applause. And then let me conclude, one of my favorite quotes from Teddy Roosevelt. And it's not the critic who counts, but it's the man or woman who's actually in the arena trying to make things better. A lot of times people criticize from the cheap seats, but it's the person who's actually in the arena trying to make it better for the next generation who deserves the credit. And I will also end with a quote from Richard Nixon. He said, you know, others may hate you, but others that hate you don't win unless you hate them. And then you destroy yourself. So with that, I want to bring up for a final, maybe for a portrait, but I want to ask all my council colleagues to come up here because, again, I'm the mayor, but it's really all of us working together as a council. And so I just want to bring all the council members up here for one last shot. And again, it's been a privilege to be your mayor. Thank you, Chamber, for all that you do for our city. And thank you all for being here today. Really appreciate it. Casey, all right. You didn't see him. Yeah, he did. Oh, he just left. Come on. 2 minutes. All right. Ready? All right. Thank you.
I'm not as tall as Tony. Thank you very much, Mayor. We very much appreciate your comments, and to council members and to the city staff. It's now my pleasure to introduce somebody who we all know very well, the CEO of Visit HB, Kelly Miller.
Let's see. Can you hear me? Is that a little clearer? Great. Mayor, great job. Great job, council members, for being here. And, of course, Diane and Michelle, thank you for being here as well. And to make sure you pay attention, if you don't pay attention, the elf on the shelf will be there every year or every day of next year, so you got to pay attention. I'm going to go through this rather quickly. I'm excited to be here. Some people said, what happened here? Did you get in a bike wreck or what happened there? I had 2 spider bites. Put on my cycling helmet and didn't look inside. So that was the one story that's true, but my staff have told me that what you need to say is that you cycled 50 miles, then went surfing down and went through the pier and you hit the pilings, and so I had some barnacles there. That's what I'm sticking with. What we thought we would do is kind of give you an update of where we are, certainly an update on the Olympics and what we're doing to increase our funding to be competitive as we go into 2028. So let me see if I got this. Yeah. So, who are we? A lot of people think we're a department of the city. We are what we call the DMO, a Destination Management Organization, and we're a 501c3. Our mission, just like the mayor said and some of the council members, is really about economic vitality and the quality of life through everything that we do. Our mission, I just said that, and our vision, we just recently did this on a new strat plan. So we have a vision in and a vision out. And we certainly want to be an effective destination leader representing the combined visitor industry and the community partnership and what we call brand development, marketing, and the sale of basically the Surf City USA brand experience. And we love this. Our new vision out is to be a welcoming, beach-infused community that inspires the stoke of optimism in every visitor and resident. Do you like that? Love that. So appropriate in what we see around the world today, without question. So I won't go through all this, but like most businesses, we have certain departments, certain elements that we do really well, and those 5 are straight block and tackle marketing. Research, everything that we do, we got to make sure that we have a return on investment because that's how we're funded, through an assessment. Group sales. So when you see people walking around with a badge, that's our working closely with the hotels and partners. And we get about 11 to 1,200 hotel meeting leads a year. That's a lot of interest in Huntington Beach. Visitor and partner services. So you get everybody coming here, but you certainly have to make sure that you're taking care of them once they're here. And this is a lot of the website. Great to hear the city. Congratulations, Jen and everybody, for getting that off the ground. This is really a lot of work that we do behind the scenes. Tourism enhancements, the wayfinding signs, community sponsorship of big special events, all those things to enhance the tourism experience. And then advocacy. 20 years ago, we just talked about how we place an ad in, say, Southern Living or Sunset and how we can convert that to a stay. Now we're at the table with the city, with the county, with the state, and U.S. travel on a federal basis, and also Brand USA internationally. So we are there at those tables as well. The good and not so good. So this is the state of tourism and what we're doing, so we thought we'd tell you this. So Omar and his team do a great job. So this gives you a quick shot of, this is the occupancy rate in Huntington Beach. And you'll see certainly when COVID hit, but what we did, there's through October, January through October, so we're down a little bit. We're down 3.5% in occupancy for this year compared to our banner year of 2019. So then what we did is we went, so let's take a look at those 6 years and see where we are if we just look at January through October. And you'll see that we're down 5.5% and down 9.2%, almost 10% from 2019. So basically on any given night, if you have 100 hotel rooms, you got almost over 9 that are not occupied, to give you a comparison. What about rate? Well, good news here is that for January through October, we're outpacing 2022. You can see about $310 is the average rate for the 10 months of this calendar year. However, when we take that same analysis and we look at those 6 years and we look at January through October, you'll see we're down 6.3% in the rate. So you got fewer people coming, right? And you're not getting as much per room that you were getting from that 2022 number. So what else? So our total visitation, this is, now Tony mentioned that 13 million. What we try and do is we look at the non-OC resident visitor coming, because we know that that's our target audience. And if we can get in their hearts and minds and they say, we want to come visit Huntington Beach, we have a greater chance that they're going to check into a hotel. That's what we try and do. That's how we're funded through our tourism assessment. And you can see those numbers. 2022, we're down 13.3%. And you can see that we're down compared to 2019, 18.4%. So fewer people come, right? Why is that? Well, there's a lot of reasons. I'll get up and I watch the financial channels like everybody else, or read the Wall Street Journal. Jeff and I from Pacific City were just talking about that. Well, certainly there's competition. Major regional competition now, without question. New popular destinations. I probably know 10 people that went to Portugal or Spain this last year, without question. Cruise market. I got 3 flyers 2 days ago from Viking, Norwegian, and I think Princess. This is their wave season, so they're hitting this really hard. You know, you pack once and you see 10 destinations. New hotels and attractions. How about YouTube, right? Hottest ticket go on that, and Taylor Swift. But this is what's happening, and this is what people sitting at home are saying, what am I going to do and where am I going to go? Certainly these 4 things hit us: the high prices, interest rates, global wars. I think we're all a little nervous right now in 401 volatility. I saw that the market was up about 150, 200 points this morning, but on any given day, we all look at our 401k balances and we're going, well, are we going to travel? What are we going to do? Do I have enough money to retire? Right? Should I switch to bonds? All those things that we talk about. I think internally we talked about this. There's just a heightened sense of awareness when you talk about, is there travel and is there safety in travel? You saw what happened in Vermont to 3 people that were shot the other day, and it seems like, I don't know about you, but I look at my news feeds and there's something happening almost every day, and we think that that probably has an effect on whether somebody's going to travel. Certainly the uptick, you're calling it COVID 2.0. My wife got sick. I got sick. Well, went to Hogue, etc. And there's just this malaise, I think, that everybody's kind of a little bit ill right now. And then, of course, if you're a caregiver, like many of you are in this room, you're worrying about if you're an older person, maybe a parent, maybe they're going to get sick, and are you close enough? My dear friend was going to go to Chile for 3 months. His sister just got bad case of cancer, kind of took a turn to the worst, so now he's only going to go down there for a couple weeks and come back. So that, I think, is what's happening. But, well, thanks, Kelly. This is a great holiday message, right? Well, dogs surfing, and Rocky, good to see you. I know you just had a little bit of a health bout, but good to see you here. So what is the good news? Well, fortunately, we are very surgical in where we spend our money. And of the 12 DMA markets, that's kind of like, what are we focused on? 6 of those are in California. That's good. We don't really rely that much on a lot of international business, which used to be about 12% of our business before COVID. So that's good. We can target that. We can get them a message on their phone or et cetera. And look at the demos. And this is all based on, we geo-track people's phones. So Omar has a program. We look at it, and this is from, I think, January through October, Omar? Yeah. So that's the age group, and that's the demos. So that's a good group. That demographic group are the #1 spenders in the country right now. That boomer group. They're the ones that are really driving a lot of the consumer spending. And those markets and those groups are who we're targeting. Quick little snapshot here. You can see in the in-state visitors, 70% are repeat. They come once, they like to come back. You can see there's in-state visitors by distance. That's good too. With the price of gas, regional drive, particularly closer in, regional drive becomes really critically important. Length of stay, no surprise here. A little bit closer in, you're going to spend a day, and that's where they usually, on the weekdays versus weekends, no surprise there. Saturday, Sunday are our biggest. Let's look at out-of-state. Right, a little harder to get here, but still pretty high. 40% are repeat visitors that want to come back, and then there's, of course, out-of-state visitors by distance. Again, those top couple categories there, those blue lines are good for us. Also, they like to stay a little longer, so that's why we focus also on the further out you get and maybe some out-of-state stuff. All right. So Omar keeps a good tab on all the visitor sentiment. And despite the bad news coming now, but you'll see over half feel they'll be better financially off in a year from now. That's good. Budgets still going to be down about 12% on the travel budgets, but 54% say that the high budget priority in their home budget is travel over the next 3 months. And then, of course, some travel volume remains robust. Going to take 65% one overnight trip the last month alone. 70 took one leisure trip. 82 already have some trips planned. 88%, almost 9 in 10, say they are going to take a trip over the next year. Good news for us. So how do we take this and how do we amplify the Surf City USA brand to get in the hearts and minds of these people? So this is the eye exam part of our program, so you'll have to cover your ear or eyes. So what this is there's 6 major categories there, and this is how we spend our money. And I mentioned that we have to show a return on investment because we do collect an assessment, and because there's state laws that mandate how we spend those dollars. That's basically how we spend the money when it comes to sales and marketing and PR. And you'll see at the bottom where it says social media, that's year round. But you'll see that right about halfway and then over, that's the non-shoulder season stuff. Excuse me, that is the shoulder season stuff. That's not the summertime. We get good numbers here in the summertime. What we need people like when Darker Waves was here, the Air Show, AVP. Those are the things that we're focused on to make sure they come when we need those people. We call it leveling out the EKG. You don't want to be a place that's like this, right? Spring break comes, summer comes, you might have another holiday come. We like to do this. So all the city people here, they know how to budget. Police, fire, marine safety, so there's some consistency throughout the year and people aren't laying people off once the season is over. These are a couple things we've done. We've done a lot of this internally with the team. And let me just stop for a minute. VHB, stand up real quick, the staff here. Thank you. Lean and mighty. How about the VHB board, before I forget? I know we have some board members here. Jeff, you can stand up because I know you're taking Jennifer's place here. Thank you. They keep us in check and in line. This is a soft season campaign, so it's real simple. You only get a little minute to check this out, then they're going to click on it and go to another place like our website or another spot. Visit California. We spend about $150,000, $170,000 with them. They put about another $60,000 to $80,000 in because of the co-op stuff. So that's about $250,000. We are on the coattails of the Visit California budget, which they have the largest state budget in the country at almost $200 million. And so we have the best state travel director in the country. Some local campaigns that we've done. I just talking to somebody, they saw the KTLA. That's not cheap to be on there for a quarter, but we're there and we sponsor the Surf Report. The Huntington Beach Holidays campaign, that's being tweaked, that's being rolled out as we speak, and then Show Our HB Love, that's a local, support your local people, that's going to be rolled out this winter. Website. Again, congratulations to the city. We did this about, a year and a half, 2 years ago? Yeah, July 22, we did this. It took us about a year. It is not cheap, but I'm so glad we did it because our numbers are starting to really skyrocket now. Just in that period from July to November, 500,000 users came to surfcityusa.com. So we spend a lot of time driving search engine optimization, keyword search, all those sort of things. So we get them there, we get them to the website. But how do we really drive even more interest globally and nationally? Through our PR campaign. We have a PR agency that helps us in several markets, And you'll see that's just a small sampling of what we've generated on the PR side. Some of the accolades, Best of the OC Awards. We are so proud to be OCBC, one of the best places to work, as well as Fired Up said that you guys have a great culture there. Because if we don't have that culture, this stuff doesn't get done. Sophia over there, this is great, the tourism and development. Those are the 3 international markets that we're big time in right now. Major highlights, we hosted a huge golf invitational. Some of the top producers of travel in the world were here for 4 or 5 days. We hosted that right here in Huntington Beach. And then we just got back recently from the Autism Aviation Day with Air Canada. That's going to be a big initiative as we move forward. Some of the FAMs, what is a FAM? That's a familiarization trip. So we're kind of like a bank. I thought about that, I talked to the team about this. So I got an alert that my wife was out shopping because our checking account was getting a little low. So I said, well, what am I going to do? So I transferred some money in about 30 seconds back from her savings to checking, right? So a lot of this stuff that you're seeing, you don't feel it, right? You don't see that because we're trying to get people here, decision makers, to get more people to come here to visit. So it's almost like this invisible sales and marketing thing, other than, say, visitor services. You may not know this. We work with the city on all film. So when you see a photo shoot, be it a model shoot or actually a film being done, we're the ones working with the city and the decision makers to see if we can get that and steal it away from the LA area. Group sales. Susan's in charge of that. Those are our top accounts over there. Marketing mix. Most of the meetings that come in here are corporate. That's because our rates are a little higher. A lot of association business. They look for something a little bit more cheap and cheerful. And those are some of the groups that we interface with. And I just looked at the number. I think, Susan, you're doing 22 sort of trade shows and experiences out of market pretty much. This next calendar year, that's a lot of work. And those are some of those shows right there. We got somebody in Chicago right now, freezing, but they're there for a big holiday event right now. So we get them here, we're doing the marketing, et cetera, and then you can see some of the things. We are at a lot of the signature events with our booth. We have the kiosks there at the pier that we've done for years. Those are 4 guided walking tours that we've launched over the last couple of years. Heather, congratulations, great job on that. We educate people. We bring in for free of charge, and we have events at our office. We tell people how to get more business from this visitor industry. We have a little shop there. We have a volunteer program, and we do a ton of production on visitor guides, et cetera, that we send out for free of charge. Mayor Tony mentioned this. We're not building any new product, so these special events become absolutely critical for us. And those are 3 that we invested in heavily, and we worked very closely with those people. So, where do we go from here? About a year ago, we started working on how do we increase our budget to compete with our comp set. I want to show you this real quick, and before I talk about this in the next several slides. As a DMO, we have just several ways to increase our resources. The one way is if you're a membership bureau, you can look to increase your membership dues. Well, the Chamber is a membership bureau, and I've been with membership bureaus before. That is an area that I do not want to go down. Number 2, you can get some of the TOT revenue. The city keeps all the TOT revenue. It's been about $105 million since it started, and this year will be about 16 or 17 million. Any change in TOT needs to go to the vote of the people, and it needs to be 50% plus 1 to increase that, right? Number 3, you can get a special grants from the city. That's what we used to do. We call it the begathon, so we would line up there with everybody else, and we'd say, can you please give us X amount of money? This was 30-some years ago. And many places are still like that. So you have to go and you have to prove your worth, and then you get a grant. We don't like that way either. So the Tourism Business Improvement District funds our entire operation. And that's 4% when somebody checks into a hotel. The TOT is 10%. So you can see those are the budgets of our comp set. We call ourselves the smallest pup in the litter. Got about $7 million. That's a lot of money, no question about it. But you can see the other bureaus. And some of those bureaus and some of those destinations, they get TOT revenue. We do not. So then let's look at the number of rooms we have. We have about 2,300 rooms. Doesn't include short-term vacation rentals, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And that's our comp set. Those are the number of rooms that when people want to come and visit California that we compete with. So let's go ahead and let's throw short-term vacation rentals in there. We have about 209 legal short-term vacation rentals, and you can see the other places and the numbers that they have. Just my good friend down south of us, Newport Beach, $10 million budget, and they have 1,500 short-term vacation rentals. So that's great, but how does this look when you compare the amount of money we get with the number of rooms, and we can do what's called a competitive funding line, see where we are. The one place you don't want to be in our world is in the lower left-hand corner. That's not a good place to be. And even my elf friend will tell you that. So we're down there, and then we looked at over the last year what's happening in the marketplace. Who's adding product? What kind of product are they adding? So you can see right there, there is the Vea Hotel. They just did a major reskin. That's the Marriott. You can see now this isn't a hotel, but just shows you the amount of development that's happening. That's the Ritz-Carlton. There's the Pendry Hotel. Brand new, reskinned, opened up. Eagle 4, $1 million opening party about 3 weeks ago. That's going to drive a lot of rate. This is just a special event venue, but this is the largest restoration hardware store in their portfolio, and there's going to be a huge deck, and they're going to be doing a lot of special events. Disney, been seeing what's going on there? Iger announced yesterday in the OC Register that it's $60 billion that they're going to be spending throughout all of their theme parks, including hopefully bringing some of those attractions that have been successful in Shanghai, Beijing, and other places to the Disney experience here. These 2 hotels opened up during COVID. I did some quick math. It's almost 1,100 hotel rooms. That's just a tick below the Hilton, the Hyatt, and Shorebreak. These opened up. That's competition. OC Vibe, you heard about that? It's $4 to $5 billion. A lot of it's going to be open before the games, and it's free parking. So that complex is going to be attracting a lot of people, and they will be building hotels there. Real quick, South County, that's part of Orange County. That's our comp set too. There's some of the expansion plans and redos that they've done in there. And Dana Point, as you know, R.D. Olson's going to build 2 more hotels down there if he can get through Coastal. So what does all that mean? So what we did is we presented to our board. We've been working with the city. We only have a couple of options. The black line up there is if we don't do anything. Don't do anything. The blue line is if you were to do a 2% TOT increase, which would need to go to the voters, and it would have to be passed with 50% plus 1. The orange line is the T-bid increase, which my board has already approved. We have the petitions ready to go, and this will be coming before City Council on December 19th for what we call a T-bid intent to modify our existing percent from 4% to 6%. And because of the regenerative effect of T-bid and where we spend this money on sales, marketing, public relations, and tourism enhancements, you can see at about 2028-9, that area, you start to see that number increasing. That number also represents about 1,000 jobs and a payroll of income of about $300 million. So that's what we're proposing to be competitive. For what reason? For this reason right here more than anything. So I'm going to leave you with this. LA 2028 will be deciding on the surfing venues, shortboard, longboard, and then the parasurfing, which for the first time those 2 entities are talking together. It used to be the normal games would come, and then the para games would come. So they're going to try and utilize as many existing venues. So what we've done is we've worked for several years on this, and if this happens, and we'll know in March, it will be transformative for this community and for many generations to come. I've mentioned before that I had the good fortune of working in Atlanta for the 96 games. And I can tell you, my office used to overlook Century Hardware in what wasn't Centennial Olympic Park. And it was tough in downtown Atlanta. At 5:01, they left, unless you were going to an Atlanta Hawks game or you were going to a baseball game at the old Fulton Stadium. And that was the rap against Atlanta. So when that games got announced in the early 1990s, everything changed. And I'm here to tell you that in the next 4.5 years, if we get this, that is the opportunity. And for all the programs that City Council and staff are working on, all those things about one-stop shop, infrastructure, public works stuff, that's absolutely critical because the world will be coming. There will never be more attention on Southern California than in the history of Southern California when World Cup comes in 2026 and certainly when the Olympics come. We contend, and I believe this, you'll be able to walk outside of SoFi, and I think with Olympic transportation, which is 7,000 buses, and the fact that a lot of people leave town, they're residents because they don't want to be part of the games for whatever reason, we think within an hour you'll be able to be at our pier from the heartbeat of the games up in LA. And I believe that because I saw it in Atlanta. Best day I ever had traveling. I lived 15 miles, was coming downtown, was 15, 16 minutes to get me downtown. So this is how we get ready for the world. Because once they come and see us, they're going to tell the world. We worked with the chamber in a huge way. We brought in all the Bob Costas of the world, and we had 19 film crews in Atlanta 2 times, and we shot all this B-roll. We showed them all about the real South. We opened up a 25,000 square foot visitor center, so they came and saw what the perception was of the Old South and what the New South was, and it exploded economic development. I mean, look at Atlanta now. It's one of the fastest growing MSAs and has been since the games. So that's why this is important. And that's why everything that the city's doing is absolutely vitally important, and that's why this funding increase is important. It's one thing to get the games. It's another thing to do all the things you need to do to host it right. So the ISA, that's not cheap to do. We've invested about $1 million in the 4 events that we've hosted since 2018. We want to host more of those events. The last couple of years before the games, there'll be qualifying events, both the WSL and the ISA. So wouldn't it be great to have the ISA World Championships here again, as well as bring back what used to be the WSL, make it a part of the championship tour series, right? And you got to surf it. That's how it used to be. And if Olympic qualifier, I think we have the juice to make that happen. So what do you think about that program? Is that what we want to do? Thank you. I think we're right on time, right?
Thank you very much, Kelly. Well, you can see we have an exciting city, we have exciting potential, and it takes a whole group to make it happen, not just a few individual people. So in closing, I would like to thank our sponsors. I'd like to thank Primo Nosh, our caterers, and remind you that we have our Best of Huntington Beach Awards coming up. To please vote, go to hbchamber.com and vote for your favorite category and your favorite people in the city. And the awards event is actually on January 11th. If you go to our website, you can get tickets. We look forward to seeing you there. Have a great weekend, everybody, and thank you.